All right, my friends. Hello, folks. I'm back. Tomb Raider 582. Um, I am still in the multiverse at Gods of the Sky. Gods of the Sky. So let's check this out. Let's check out a couple of the paintings.
Castor and Pollux were twin brothers, sons of Zeus and Leda, who sailed with Jason and the Argonauts, in search of the Golden Fleece. They were invincible fighters with unparalleled courage. Pollux distinguished himself as a great boxer, and Castor was a great wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
To commemorate their heroic feats, and the help they gave to the sailors, and because of their brotherly love for each other, Zeus placed their constellation, Gemini, in the sky, after their deaths.
Okay.
Hercules was known for his great strength and courage, but he bore the jealousy of Zeus's wife, Hera. In an attempt to discredit him, Hera gave Hercules 12 seemingly impossible tasks, called labors. Hercules not only completed these 12 tasks, but he earned even greater praise from Zeus.
Mm.
Leo was a ferocious lion, living in the forests of Nemea, who feasted on animals and humans alike. The first of Hercules' 12 labors was to kill this terrible lion. Knowing that no spear, or arrow, could pierce the lion's skin, Hercules strangled the beast, instead. Hercules then came out of the lion's cave, wearing his skin as a robe.
Oh, wow. What do we have here?
Orion was a great hunter, and in an effort to impress Diana, the goddess of the hunt, he killed a deer with one shot, and she was delighted. The next day, he proceeded to kill every animal he found, and presented the corpses to Diana.
Oh.
However, Diana was also the protector of animals, who punished
Mm-hmm.
people who killed for pleasure, not for food.
Exactly.
As punishment, Diana sent a scorpion to kill Orion, later turning them both into constellations, so they could continue their chase, for eternity. Even now, as Orion sets in the sky, Scorpius rises.
Mm.
Apollo, the Olympian god of healing and medicine, had a lover, Coronis, who betrayed him by sleeping with a mortal warrior. His pet crow, Corvus, witnessed her infidelity, and told Apollo.
Mm.
Enraged, Apollo sent his sister, Artemis, to slay Coronis. Apollo then regretted his wrath, but it was too late. To punish the tattletale crow, Apollo turned its white feathers black, and banished it to the heavens. In Greek myth, Taurus is often associated with the Cretan bull, sent by Poseidon as a sacrificial gift, to King Minos of Crete. The king didn't want to kill the magnificent creature, so he slaughtered a different bull instead. This enraged the sea god, who made King Minos fall in love with the bull. The liaison resulted in the birth of the Minotaur, half man, half bull. The Minotaur
Mm.
was so fierce, that King Minos had a labyrinth built to hold the beast.
Wow, okay. Aries.
The king of Thessaly had two children, Phrixus and Helle, whose stepmother treated them very badly. The god, Hermes, took pity on them, and sent a magical ram to rescue them.
Okay, I'm looking for Leo. Cancer the crab. Well, okay, let me go back here.
Zeus was married to Hera, but had an illegitimate son called Hercules. Hera was jealous of Hercules, so she gave him 12 labors, to test his strength and courage. Hera hoped that if he failed, Hercules would lose his father's respect.
Mm.
So she secretly schemed against him. One of these 12 labors was to kill the 9-headed Hydra. Hera sent a large crab to distract Hercules while he was fighting the Hydra. However,
Mm.
Hercules crushed the crab with his foot before finally defeating the beast.
Wow. Hey. Leo. Leo. Let's see.
When he was a baby, Zeus's mother hid him with some sea nymphs in order to stop his father, Kronos, killing him. One day, Zeus was playing with his goat, Amalthea, and broke one of her horns. Zeus read this as a sign that he was ready to fight his father. Zeus gave the horn to the sea nymphs, turning it into a magic horn that would always feed them. This is the origin of the word cornucopia, or horn of plenty.
Oh. Okay.
Cepheus and Cassiopeia had a beautiful daughter, named Andromeda. Cassiopeia boasted that Andromeda was more beautiful than the nymphs of the sea. This greatly angered Poseidon, the god of the sea, who sent a horrible sea monster to ravage the coasts of the kingdom. The only way that Poseidon could be pacified was for Cepheus to sacrifice his daughter to the monster. Andromeda was chained to a rock in the sea, and left to her fate. However, Andromeda was rescued by the great hero, Perseus, who turned the sea monster to stone, using the head of the Medusa, whom he had just slain.
Mm.
This painting, on display at the Louvre, in Paris, depicts the king and queen, thanking Perseus, whilst Andromeda is freed from her chains by winged infants.
Okay.
Pegasus was a winged horse, who sprang from the spilled blood of the Medusa, after she was slain, by Perseus. Pegasus flew off into the sky, but was eventually tamed by Minerva, who gifted him to Bellerophon, to help him conquer the monster, Chimera. Bellerophon then attempted to ride Pegasus up to Mount Olympus, aspiring to live with the gods. But his presumptuousness angered Zeus, who made an insect sting Pegasus. This caused the horse to buck, and Bellerophon fell to his death.
Oh. These are some interesting stories behind these paintings.
One day, Venus and her son, Cupid, heard the fearsome monster, Typhon, crashing through the woods, towards them. Venus took Eros's hand, and they ran away, as fast as possible. They finally reached the shores of the Great Sea. Knowing that the terrible Typhon would soon be upon them, Venus and Cupid changed themselves into two fish, and swam away to safety.
Mm.
This oil painting was created in 1809, and depicts Venus protecting her infant Cupid. It can be viewed at the Yale Center for British Art.
Mm.
The constellation of Sagittarius was placed in the night sky by Zeus to honor Chiron, the king of the centaurs. Chiron had galloped into a battle to help Hercules, who was defending another centaur, but Hercules shot Chiron by mistake, wounding him badly. Being immortal, Chiron would have had to live in horrible pain for the rest of his life. Zeus took pity on him, and made him mortal, allowing him to die.
Mm,
In this engraving we see Hercules, wearing the lion skin from his previous labor, fighting with 3 centaurs.
okay. Gods of the sky. Norse gods. Okay. Let's that's where we were, the James Webb Space Telescope. Okay. Um Lunar gods. Huh. I like this painting. Let's see.
Pluto has 5 named moons called Charon, Hydra, Nyx, Kerberos, and Styx. These are all characters in Greek mythology who are linked to Hades, the Greek equivalent of Pluto. Charon ferries the dead down the river Acheron, to the gate of the underworld, and across the river Styx, which forms the boundary between the worlds of the living and the dead, and was home to the Hydra.
Hmm.
Nyx is the goddess of darkness and the night, and Kerberos is a giant 3-headed dog, who guards the entrance to the underworld. The first 2 moons of Neptune, Triton and Nereid, were also named after Greek sea deities. Triton was Poseidon's son, and the Nereids were sea nymphs. Triton was a merman who, according to legend, dwelt with his parents in a golden palace, in the depths of the sea. He was human down to his waist, with the tail of a fish.
Hmm.
Triton's special possession was a magical seashell, which he could blow upon to calm, or raise, the waves, as depicted in this sketch by Rubens. In a departure from tradition, the first 4 moons of Uranus are named after magical spirits, in English literature. Specifically the fairies Oberon and Titania, from William Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream. And the sylphs Ariel and Umbriel, from Alexander Pope's The Rape of the Lock. The 5th moon, Miranda, was named after a thoroughly mortal character in Shakespeare's The Tempest. This painting depicts a scene from A Midsummer Night's Dream, in which the fairy queen, Titania, and fairy king, Oberon, quarrel about a changeling boy, who is hiding behind Titania.
Hmm.
Ganymede is the largest moon in the Solar System, and takes its name from a young Grecian boy famous for his beauty. According to Greek myth, Zeus turned into an eagle called Aquila, and abducted Ganymede, bringing him to Mount Olympus. To compensate his father, Zeus offered him the best horses possible, telling him that his son would now be immortal, and serve as a cupbearer for the gods. Ganymede is the largest moon in the Solar System, and takes its name from a young Grecian boy famous for his
Hmm.
beauty.
Okay. Oh, Callisto. Let's see this one.
Jupiter's second largest moon is named after Callisto, a companion of Artemis, known as Diana to the Romans, the goddess of hunting. Jupiter tricked Callisto by disguising himself as Diana, and luring her into his embrace. Callisto became pregnant and Diana realized her husband had been unfaithful, so she punished Callisto and transformed her into a bear.
Hmm.
Io is the innermost of Jupiter's Galilean moons. The tale of Io says she was a priestess for Jupiter's wife, Juno, when Jupiter first noticed her. Jupiter attempted to hide his affair with Io by concealing himself in clouds, but Juno became suspicious, and came down from Mount Olympus to investigate. Zeus then transformed Io into a cow, but Juno was not fooled, and demanded the cow as a gift. Juno then tormented Io as punishment, but she eventually escaped and was changed back to human form. Lastman has illustrated the confrontation between deceitful Jupiter and suspicious Juno, showing her pet peacocks, furiously breaking their flight. Jupiter is trying to conceal the cow, with the aid of a winged child, depicting love, and a red-masked man, representing deceit, with his attribute of a fox's pelt.
And with this, we conclude this presentation. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to my channel. That would be a YouTube channel, Tomb Raider, all one word, Tomb Raider 582, or you can follow me on X at Tomb Raider 75. I'll see you next time. Ciao.